Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Summaries Golden Threads online conversations with artists who don't fit in a box. For those of you who don't know, Golden Thread is the first theater company in the US devoted to the Middle East, founded by playwright and director Turan Yeghazarian in 1996. Golden Thread Productions acknowledges that the land we occupy is the home of the Ramaytush Ohlone, people known as colonially today as San Francisco. As we recognize the ancestral stewards of the land and acknowledge that our presence here is a reminder of the dark history of colonization and dispossession, we are outraged by the US administration's complicity in perpetuating the same cycle of oppression, land theft, and genocide in Palestine. Golden Thread Productions is dedicating its entire season to Palestine because we believe it's our duty as artists and culture makers to speak out against injustices and stand with the oppressed. This season is our response to the systemic and continuous erasure of the Palestinian people and to the silencing of their stories, culture, and their history. We do this not only for Palestinians, but for our collective humanity. No Summary this year is in line with Golden Thread season for Palestine. It embarks on a tour of 4 Palestinian cities to offer audiences in the US and beyond a taste of Palestinian theater scene, the Palestinian theater scene today. Each episode will spotlight a different theater, showcase its history, notable performances, challenges, and life beyond the scenes through interviews and artists and community members. I'm Dr. Ash Marinaccio, she, her pronouns, and I'm coming to you from part of the Lenape-Hoking known as New York City. I'm a theater maker and multidisciplinary documentarian, and I'm the lead facilitator of USA Friends of ASHTAR, which is a group of US-based artists, scholars, activists who support ASHTAR Theatre's work. We're honored today to be joined by Iman Aoun, founder and executive director, and Emile Saba, artistic director of ASHTAR Theatre in Ramallah, Palestine. I'm going to read both of their bios and we're going to begin our conversation. Iman Aoun is co-founder and executive director of ASHTAR Theatre and an award-winning actress who works in TV, theater, and film. She started her acting career with Al Hakawati Theater Company in Jerusalem in 1984 and co-founded ASHTAR Theatre in 1991. In 2020, she was a finalist for the Gilder Cogney Award in New York City. She runs ASHTAR International Youth Theater Festival and has written and published several articles on the subject of theater in Palestine and has co-written 2 books on theater training. And Emile Saba is ASHTAR's artistic director. He's a Palestinian theater maker and actor. Saba joined ASHTAR Theatre in 2001 as a theater student, graduating later with a diploma in theater and working as an actor and trainer until 2014. Where Saba graduated with an MFA in acting from the University of Connecticut. Returning back to Palestine, he pursued a career in stage directing, acting, teaching acting, casting, and acting for TV and film. Before we dive into our conversation, I'd like to take a moment to welcome all the folks who are joining us in the Zoom room and also those who are tuning in on the live stream and HowlRound. Those here with us, please feel free to utilize the chat function and post your comments and questions throughout the conversation, and I will be able to share them with our guests. So we're going to get started with our conversation, and I'm going to start off just with a question for both of you. I think it's on everybody's minds. What's the current situation in the West Bank for theater? I know I see the settler violence. We see the violence every day. Not only that's obviously that's going on in Gaza, but also what's happening in the West Bank, which often isn't as discussed, at least in the US media. So yes, I'm wondering, how is your work being affected? What is your, what's your daily work like? And then how can we work in solidarity with you as US artists?
Okay, first of all, hello, hello Ashley, and hello everybody that is part of this wonderful gathering, and thank you Golden Thread for such a wonderful opportunity, really, to give us this platform to talk to our friends in the US and the world. Well, of course, I'm not in Ramallah at the moment. I'm in Paris, touring with Oranges and Stones. And I've left the country 2 weeks ago because we're touring. But I know that the situation that Emile could really talk more about it at the current situation because every day there's something new. Every day there's a new attack, a major assault on one of the cities or the refugee camps or the villages, and especially what is going on in Jenin and especially in the northern part, but everywhere as well. So I mean, one thing that is very important that we have to start our talk from that point onward is the fact that what is happening today is just like a macro of the micro that was happening every time and every year and every month during 75 years. So even when people think that there was peace between brackets, there were never really a real like attempt to peace. So we've been either subjected to arrest or to checkpoints or to a separation wall or to abduction as well, and name it. So things now are just going a little bit more how do you say more big and
Fast-paced,
more,
like
yeah,
faster.
more faster as well. Yes, Emil, if you want to add on that.
Yeah, hello Ash and everyone. Thank you for having us. It's really an honor. And it's as Iman is saying, it's been going for years. Like it is a reality that we keep fighting every day. Some periods comes that we forget about it, and we kind of live with this delusion that occupation is there, but we try not to see it sometimes. But recently, of course, with what's happening with Gaza, everything has been highlighted more. And I don't feel that anyone feels safe at all. Not us, not our families, not our students, like not anyone I interact with or talk to, a friend or any person is feeling safe. Everyone is feeling depressed and in like this grieving state. There's a lot of anger also and unclarity, but at the same time there is clarity. But regarding theater and what we're doing, we actually like maximized our workload, and not workload but like our energies and what we're doing. And I think it's a way also to deal with the huge shock and traumas. Like everything, everyone is kind of like is projecting their traumas and looking at it and seeing how we are living in this continuous violence every day. Like planes are like, we're in theater and there's like planes going in like jets flying going to Gaza, and we know that they're gonna go bomb now. And the sounds that they make, it's insane. Every day there is an invasion. We wake up to news of little kids being shot. Yesterday was Jenin, and they had a premiere happen yesterday, and it's a direct effect. Our workshops with our students, like the weekly workshops we have, sometimes there are students that can't make it because there's something on the road, and so it's affecting everyone, but it's not stopping us at all. Like we're finding ourselves like kind of more motivated to do more and really create as kind of like an anti-power to all this hate and ugliness that we're seeing every day.
If I may add if I may add one more sentence to what Emile was saying, I would say also that it is more a necessity now to do culture and theater in particular, because it is the tool that keeps us connected to our psychological and psychology and to our sanity and to our humanity, because what is happening would only put the people off their balance. And so theater has such a magical input in giving a little bit of balance, either to the young people or to the youth that we are working with. And so this is why we continue like like bulldozers really to be able to keep this possibility on the ground.
Yeah.
Mm.
And for those of us who are listening in or just joining us, ASHTAR Theatre is the oldest youth theater in the West Bank. There's a youth theater. They also do theater of the oppressed work, and they have a professional adult company. So just to, to provide a little bit of context for folks who might be listening in for the first time, I do want to ask, how can you talk a little bit about the youth theater and the youth theater training that you do? I know that you just started a psychosocial program and you've been building that. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how that's going along?
Yeah. Um, we've been always doing psychosocial programs. When the Gaza monologues were created, that was a product also of a psychosocial intervention in Gaza. And sadly, every time there is something like this happens, um, we find like this time we find ourselves like this is what we need to do. And we started with schools, with the school students from the age of 7 to the age of 15. We having groups that are rehearsing at Ashtar. We have two groups, young ones, also the same age group, and there is the adult group. I have this year around like 12 young guy and girl um, between the ages of like 21 to 35, and we're also working with youth groups and youth organizations. We are working in Bethlehem also, in schools and with youth organizations. And it's been going the past few months. It's been very rewarding, and it's kind of like an active doing, because we felt like very helpless and like what can we really do. But this work with the trainers that are working on it, it created like this small community that we got to meet during the darkest times and ventilate and be like a space, a safe space for each other. And that was really powerful. And the work with kids and people, even like adults, because we have like women groups also. It's very rewarding because you see how people are affected and how much they are in need to talk, to sit and just share what they've been seeing on TV or how is this affecting them personally. There's a lot of like amount of despair, but also there is hope, and people are dabbling with this new reality, with their fears, and little kids were noticing a lot of stress. They're not able to focus. Even during the workshops, it's like taking a lot of effort to get them into a safe mindset. Um, but um, but it just only shows that the work is needed.
Hmm.
So I'm
I
really
also,
happy that this is happening.
sorry, Emile, maybe I'm just,
I'm done.
no,
Go
I
on.
also want to the part of the work in Gaza, because as
Mm,
the audience might or might not know that we have a branch in Gaza, and we have our youth who work there as well, together with Ali Abu Yassin and the director, and those who really written the Gaza monologues, because they were our
mm,
students, they continued to be our students, and then they became trainers and theater makers in Gaza, working with ASHTAR. So although they have lost their homes, their loved ones, and their safety net and everything you can imagine, and they are living in tents or living in like
yeah.
however the Gazans are living, they were able to practice or to guide training with children in the camps, in the new presence of the Gazans that moved from one place to another.
Yeah.
So we did a program with them where they were able to also do the psychosocial intervention with these kids, and it was really
Mm,
amazing, because that had helped them also as grown-ups and as adults to ventilate, because there's so much frustration, so much fear and fury that is all getting together,
mm,
where people are unable to understand or to even expect what tomorrow would bring, or the next minute would bring. And so that's why to really work with the kids was quite a ventilation of both ends.
mm,
Yeah, and besides that, Ali Abu Yassin had been writing marvelous monologues, and like keeping his diary from the beginning of the war until now, but also others were trying to do the same. Some of them made films, some of them had written poetry
mm,
or I mean, they tried also to feel their human like backbone, if you want, because without that, they also like everything is deteriorating their
mm.
human presence. So yeah, and maybe theater is the only thing that is safeguarding them from a complete collapse.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing this. I think there's a lot of, there can be apathy sometimes where people are like, well, what can theater do? Like, why theater? There's so many terrible things happening in the world. Why should we support theater? What can theater do? How can, does this actually matter? And I think this is speaking to, you're speaking to exactly why theater matters and what, the potential of the work is and what theater can do. Um, I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit about the Gaza monologues. I know that our audience will probably know about the recent initiative, the international initiative, where there hundreds of productions were done around the world in March and in April, and productions are still continuing to happen as part of an international solidarity effort to produce and to share stories from people in Gaza. um, I know we did, there were several productions in New York, and we were proud to be part of that. But could you
Mm.
tell us a little bit about that initiative and, how that initiative is continuing, and any additions to the Gaza monologues in 2024, because this piece was written, you know, a decade ago, and is still relevant. So I would love to hear your experience of that.
Yes, I would start by saying that, as Emile mentioned a few minutes ago, that this particular project was done in order to give a platform for the young people to ventilate and to talk about the psychological effect of the first assault on Gaza in 2008, 2009 for 22 days. And we wanted our students at that time to really be able to write their testimonies of what they have seen, what they have lived, what they have experienced, in order to overcome the trauma that they have lived. We never thought that this ongoing trauma is going to be not a trauma, but like a multiple traumas that they are living these days. So when the war erupted in October, we thought that, like, come on, we don't know what to do. I mean, we were all paralyzed. But then we thought that the only way, at least, to really convey the message to the world is by telling them that this is not something that is happening in October.
Now.
This has been done every 2 years. Like in 2008, 9, in 2012, there was a major assault. In 2014, there was another. In 2016, the fourth one, and we lost our theater, Al Mistahal, in 2018, and so it's an ongoing every 2 years there is a big major assault on Gaza that without even a trigger. So this is exactly why we thought that, okay, let the people at least realize, understand, be aware. And so by disseminating or by sharing these stories, the world who had who had agreed to present them felt that it's true, like something is wrong here. I'm sure that also the media, the mass media, is not putting out front what is happening in Palestine, but this is the role also of culture and of theaters and of artists to present the reality, the daily aspects. And so yeah, that was our main objective of why we have shared these monologues. And from there, I mean, it grew, and it became like a snowball that maybe Emile could continue further, because it became really something that is like a wave, if you want.
Yeah, definitely a wave, and it's continuing this year. Of course, it's running on its own, and that's what's like really strong about it, is the ownership that people are taking, and there is a huge. I'm feeling there's a huge amount of responsibility over these testimonies at people that are utilizing and creatively and in a lot of inspirational ways. In South Africa, there are people who protested using the Gaza monologues. They were using it to speak about the land and indigenous people, and in the US and in Arab countries and Europe, and people were reading them in their classrooms and making stage readings and fundraising events. And for this year, this is continuing, and it is our call to you that please take the monologues, and you can organize. It's like one of the questions about how can we what can we do, and these it's building communities with people, and it's really sharing and getting to know and educating ourselves and reminding ourselves with what's happening. And there are new monologues that's been written, as Iman mentioned, like Ali Abu Yassin has been writing, and a lot of letters, and we're sharing all the new material, like testimonies from the same authors, but now all like in audio and in writing and on the Gaza Monologues website. And there are projects now about publishing the monologues, and it's going. So yeah.
Yeah. It's been translated to 22 different languages around the world,
Mm.
languages that we never heard of as well. But that is on one side, this is really good that the message is being reaching out to communities and to countries with their own language, and that was always the idea that the people would hear these testimonies with their own language and not through a foreign language. But also what we're trying to do at the moment is also invite the international community that had been part of the Gaza monologues to write letters back to Gaza, which is also an important aspect for us, because we believe that it is important that the world is hearing Gaza, but it is also important for Gaza to hear the world. And we're not only gathering these letters for today and tomorrow, we're gathering it for history, for because hopefully soon the genocide would stop, but then later, I mean, the next generation or the people who had lost everything, I mean, they need to know that people were with them on their side, or that they think that that wasn't accepted at all. So these letters are very important for us, and we launched this call there's like 2 3 months ago, but it's open because we thought that people are still very interested, and they are sending letters to us, so we kept postponing it, postponing the deadline, and I think we don't need a deadline for it, because until this genocidal war is over, then people can really communicate and send letters, poems, visual material doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is like also an invitation for whoever is hearing us.
And can folks access information on how to send letters and where to send letters through the ASHTAR website?
Yeah.
They can go to our Instagram.
Okay.
They can go to our Instagram. There's the link tree, and there you'll find different links to the Gaza monologues, the letters, the psychosocial intervention, like different parts.
Fantastic. I know folks have, there's a lot of interest in how to support the work and in producing the work. Again, I've been part of so many, a couple of Gaza monologues initiatives here in New York, and the community that it's built. I talk to folks from that every day. Like, there's a really, a very strong Palestinian activist artist community that has, that's become very tight and has worked together. And we've seen all kinds of manifestations of the monologues. We've seen dance, interpretive dance. We've seen it, as Emile says, used in protests. We've seen them done in the encampments. Recently on campus,
Oh.
people were reading Gaza monologues in the encampments and having discussions about Palestinian theater and Palestinian culture. So, this is it's a important document and important to Iman's point, a piece of the archive of this moment in history. I see we have a question in the chat, and I just want to, as we're halfway through our conversation, And for folks who just might be tuning in via the live stream or Zoom, we're speaking today with ASHTAR Theatre's Iman Aoun and Emile Saba. And we're welcoming everyone to participate in the chat. You can put your questions in the chat. And we welcome an open conversation. So please do join us. I see that we have a question from Marina. Marina says, we're doing another Gaza Monologues presentation as a fundraiser this Sunday with Palestinian American kids and 3 kids who just came from Gaza. The kids said they want Gaza kids to know that they care. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Arena,
I
thank
see
you
that.
so much. This is
Yeah, thank you, Marina. I see that on campus. Like I've been teaching at several colleges throughout New York, and the general feeling is how do we let them know, how do we let people in Palestine know that we care and we're behind them? We want them to know that there's solidarity. Can you take pictures? Can you share? We want them to know that we're here. And that's, there's a real movement and real deep caring from the students, and that doesn't get spoken about in the media, and that doesn't get spoken about. You won't see that, but that it's there. And Gaza Monologues and a lot of Palestinian theater has been an integral part of that.
Yeah.
Again, our chat is open if anybody has any questions. I'm going to ask another question for either of you about just about the Palestinian theater landscape in general, about funding and the importance of creating, and if we could speak a little bit about the importance of creating an independent Palestinian theater that doesn't rely on international government support. If you want to speak a little bit more about that, and I know ASHTAR has been working on that. Why is this important, and what is the situation, first of all, with funding Palestinian theater, and why is it important to be independent?
I want to say that it is morally obligatory that we do not really side by the countries that are complicit in this genocide. So we refuse to really go into the chain of or into this vicious circle of how the grants and how the funding agencies, and specifically the funding agencies that are connected to governments, whitewashing governments, where they kept the Palestinian cause in a coma for so many years. And we were all part of this coma that we kept on going, thinking that we're doing development, thinking that we're doing change, thinking that we're doing a real intervention to make a better reality on the ground. That was of course our intention as Palestinians, or as Palestinian groups and theater makers and civil society. But the money that came in was not with that intention. The money that came was more with keeping the status quo of the occupation and making the situation like good here and better, a little better there, and worse there, and so we don't want this anymore. And what is happening in Gaza these days had really like flip the table, if you want, and so everything is clear and in front of all of us, and therefore as a network, as the Palestinian Performing Arts Network, and as groups apart from the PAN, we had taken a decision that we want to be completely independent of that kind of of support, and we want to be more dependent or on ourselves and on our friends, and we are happy to receive, of course, support from around the world, but from friend friends money, if you want, or friendship money, and not from complicit money. So therefore, we're trying also to find ways of looking into projects that can be self-sustained, or we are. That's why I'm here in France as well, because we started to look at our products not only as an awareness aspect, but also awareness plus, if you want, like plus. Okay, why not the audience and the friends of the Palestinians and of Ashtar to support our organization. So this is what is needed at the moment. This is why we need to travel more in order to raise more support to our work back home, because we cannot really be all outside, or we cannot all stay in either. So that's one major.
Oh, it seems
She
that,
goes,
oh, Iman, it seems you have froze. But Emile, did you want to add anything while
yeah,
we wait for
for
Iman
sure.
to come back?
Let's pretend.
Iman,
Let's
just for our folks at home, Iman, as she mentioned, is on tour and is currently coming to us from France. So she's had a precarious Wi-Fi, so she'll be back with us. And Emile we will continue.
try. Yeah, for sure. What Iman is talking about is a very it's been like our talk and discussion and work within the Palestinian theaters, cultural organizations. We're part of art networks, as Iman mentioned. PAN is one of them, Palestinian Art Network, and um, everyone who is actively on the ground and working with the Palestinian community. We were really like all the organizations that we were working with, and they are representing their respected countries, or yeah, their countries. They have not defended us. They have not said any good word about the Palestinians, and it made me personally realize that all these years, this kind of system has conditioned the Palestinian organizations and NGOs, especially theaters and cultural organizations, to really be a part of this complicit cycle of like all the projects, all the programs were about improving society and freedom of speech and women empowerment, and
Hmm.
they dedicate also like the topics you want to talk about, even though you don't see it in your society, and you'd be like, but X is urgent now, but the funding or the theme of the project is something else. But and they ask the theaters to collect the number of audiences and females and males and gender, and do all these paperwork that really drowns us and transforms you into a machine for, I don't know what is the use of this, but in the back of our heads we think, okay, maybe this data will prove to the West that we are civilized enough, that we are human enough, that yes, we care about these topics and we are addressing them and we're trying to change it. And our audience is aware of this. But sadly, everything is like gone with the wind. And we each time, especially Ashtar, finds itself after a few years that, oops, what can we do? How can we keep going? How can we even improve our programs in the way that we want it to be, to invest in the people we work with, and to really create sustainable, which is hard, I know, like theater work in anywhere. it's really hard. But now we're kind of like, okay, and we have to really uh, work in how to sustain ourselves and create these opportunities for ourselves, whether it's workshops, uh, programs, psychosocial, and other things, but away from this conditional, implicit funding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
in a nutshell.
Iman,
yeah,
Iman is back with us.
yes, I'm back.
No, we are
Okay.
happy to see
Yeah,
you back.
there was a yeah, it's something cut. I don't know why, but it's okay. No, I wanted also to say that there are many groups around the world at the moment that are trying to really like organize some sort of
Mm.
support system for Palestinian culture. So, I mean, it's good to be aware that people are becoming more and more aware of this problem and able to really find new ways to support, especially art and culture in Palestine, because they really understand that through art and through culture, change could be met, because human rights had fallen completely, and we have heard the sound of the crash,
Mm.
and um, and also all these like big bombastic ideas that Emile was talking about. I mean, it's a folly. It's false, and yeah, and so we don't believe anymore. And even when we say UN, we start to laugh.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think, we were kind of saying it earlier. I we don't come back from what we've witnessed, what is happening, the genocide in Gaza. There's no, there's no returning to a before. There's no coming back from that. It really feels like, at least, even here in the US, that we're living in a different world, that we're living in a different moment. And if you're not on board, if you're not talking about Palestine, I mean, if you can't, this is to the, to Emile, some of your point, and very much like the New York theater that espouses equity and diversity and community and all of the buzzwords, but still to this day cannot say Palestine. We see that, right?
Mhm.
Like it's out there now, and
Yeah.
it's not. We don't forget that. There is no coming back, and I mean, this work that you're talking about, like this is the future. And speaking of future, and I just want to remind folks, as we're in our last 15 minutes of our conversation, for folks who might be listening at home and for folks who are on the Zoom. If you would like to ask a question in the chat, or voice an opinion, or anything you'd like, you can feel free to put it in the chat, and we will read and discuss that. But speaking of the future, what are your future goals for ASHTAR? I know that you have an amazing youth theater program. You're doing youth theater collaborations with groups in Europe, throughout the world. But I see there's some work coming up right now in the UK and in Ireland. Um, so would you like to talk a little bit about that, and then also just the future work, like what you're looking forward to in the next months or years?
Man, do you want to say? Do you want to go on?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. We can start with oranges and stones. That's why. Um, but yeah, we're going into rehearsals now this Monday with a new production with a group of our graduates and young actors. We're gonna produce a new play called Guernica Gaza, Visions from the Center of the Earth. And it's written by Naomi Wallace and Ismail Khalidi. Yeah, it's been really a great pleasure working with them in the past few months, and we are very excited to start this. We're going with this. It's gonna premiere in July in Ramallah, hopefully, and we're invited to go to a festival with Mandala Theatre in Oxford. It's called Uncaging Our World, the youth
Love
festival.
them. They're doing amazing work. So yeah,
Mm,
love them.
yeah, they are, and so we're going there, and two of our also colleagues from Gaza, Tamer and Mahmoud, are coming. We're doing our best to get them out. Tamer is um, stuck in Rafah border. He's there for maybe 2 weeks now, and we're trying to get him out. Also, there's Amjad. These are three of the authors of the Gaza monologues, and there's Mahmoud in Egypt, and hopefully they can be with us in July in the UK. And we're having also a new production with our students, with the young ones, um, coming in also June. And to the next and rest of the year, we're doing theater workshops in Jericho and the Jordan Valley. We're gonna have also like a camp, a theater camp for 20 days in August, uh, with the circus, with the Palestinian circus. We're doing this joint project, and we're gonna do workshops, circus and theater workshops, and then we'll come up with like two full productions that this group can tour with and perform to the rest of the year. So yeah, this is what's happening now, and the man can add, of course, stuff that I forgot.
Yeah. Maybe before I add, someone is asking about the name of the festival in Oxford. Maybe Emile, you could say it one more time. The one of Mandala Theatre, or run
Yes,
by Mandala Theatre. Yes, I
and
mean,
and
Sidwa,
our,
our friend, and yeah. So yes, I would, yes, Uncaging Our World is the name of.
right?
So apart from what Emile was saying, we are touring with two plays at the moment. One is the Oranges and Stones, that talks about the loss of Palestine since the Balfour Declaration till today, in no words. We try to tell the whole history without any word at all, in order to really reach out to every single person, because sometimes language can be a barrier, but we don't want any barriers between us and the audience. And so through these performances, we are also creating a dialogue afterwards with the audience, where they are able to ask more questions and get more aware of what is happening. And so the tour started in Jordan, then in Portugal, and now we're France, and then we will be in UK, in London, Liverpool, and Newcastle, and then South Africa, and hopefully we will bring it to Sri Lanka in November, to Italy, and this is also must be to the US.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it is time to bring it over to the US, to the universities, and to different places. We played it some years ago in the lab in George Washington University.
Yeah, we have
It is yeah, it is time to be at the Golden Thread Theatre, maybe, and other places as well. But the other play is also multiple like circus, dance, and theater, directed by Emile and played by ASHTAR Muallem. Today, she flew to Morocco to perform it, and
Morocco.
that play, to Morocco, to Marrakesh, yes. So that play talks about also being a Palestinian living in France, and what kind of identity questions or crises are raised. So this is what is touring at the moment, and the play with the youth had been. This is also an important play written during the genocidal war by our friend Ruwanti Deshakira from Sri Lanka about the loss of Palestine for children. It's a play, a really amazing short story that can be told, and it is also written and published in a book. So Nursan and Emile turned it into like a play with the students, and this is part of also this kind of solidarity and networking with different countries and different people around the world in as an answer to what is happening.
Thank you. And so for all of our folks who are listening from the US, you know, you're available to tour the US, and correct, right? And we'll have to get you here. We will you know, have to work on that and getting you know, getting you throughout the getting you on the East Coast, the West Coast, and throughout the US, because it's you know, very obvious, and like hearing you talk, it's like, oh, the US is missing from this, and the US needs this. I'm seeing some comments in the I'm seeing some questions and comments in the chat box, and I'm going to read from Sahar. Iman and Emile, your resilience is so inspiring. Thank you for the work you're doing for our world. How do you do it?
How do you do it?
The question.
It is a good question.
Yeah. Listen, my name is Iman. Iman means faith. That I have strong faith in theater. That is my drive. For me, the only faith that I have, if you want, is the faith of the power of the people. Because it's important to be really strong, bold, and to be clear-minded. You have to always be in the shoes of the oppressed, even if you are not, in order to make a change. So that's the drive. This is our motto. We always look for being like a tool for change at ASHTAR.
Yeah, I think like for me, because it's been really hard, and like since October, I felt really, and I still feel really depressed, and there's like days that I don't want to do anything, and I'm like digging for the motivation and the reason to do what I'm doing, and then I see everyone doing the same thing here, but I don't feel that we have the luxury even to give up or to stop. Like I can't afford it because everything is lurking behind the hills. So there's a sense of time that is very heightened. Like if it's not now, when it's gonna be. And sometimes I think maybe what we're doing can really make a difference. And when I see people coming to the theater and the students and artists and the community, and I feel like, yeah, we're important. It's really essential to be there, to be here, and to have like the doors open all the time. And once I step into like the theater on the stage, and it's like takes you to a different place. I feel like I'm really lucky to be in this place now within what's happening. It's really a safeguard, and somehow it allows us to think and to explore options. But definitely, it's like we can't afford giving up. It's just as it is. Yeah.
We have a lot of we have questions and or more comments and support in the chat. Folks are saying thank you, theater friends, and speaking about how it does make a difference and the arts do make a difference, and you're showing us that every day. I'm going to read a comment from Layla Buck. Is a dear friend of ASHTAR here in New York, and
Layla.
part of the community. Thank you, Iman and Emile and ASHTAR, for all you do and all you are. I feel so privileged and grateful for the time I got to spend with you. There and to witness the experience of your work then and now. Your commitment to the intersection of provocative, powerful, independent professional work to training, connecting, empowering, and supporting youth and young actors across Palestine and engaging with communities throughout the West Bank, Gaza, and beyond are so inspiring. Thank you for all you do, for all you are. We will continue to spread the word about your work here wherever you can. And yes, to bring you back to the US, inshallah. I feel like this is, thank you, Layla. And I feel like this
Thank
is the place to end this today, in this space um, of the future, thinking about the future and the inspiring, life-changing work that the arts do, that theater does it, and that you do. Not only in Palestine, not only in the local community, but how it's how it's affecting everyone across the world. And we're grateful to be in community with you, and we're grateful for the work that you do. It is the greatest honor to be here today, to be speaking with you, and to have asked to host and to moderate this. It really truly is. I want to just, as we're ending now, of course, major thank you to Iman and Emile, to HowlRound for hosting the program, and to Golden Thread for creating this
Yes.
this important series. They're going to be continuing with this series with conversations in the next few weeks with Al Hara and the Freedom Theater. And for more information, you can tune into goldenthread.org. You can see the schedule. You can join their email list as well. Please join Friends of ASHTAR if you're in New York, or if you're in the US. We're now Friends of ASHTAR USA.
Hey.
Yes, join the Friends of ASHTAR. You can connect on Instagram. Thank you to Wendy Reyes for our live stream, for being our technician, and the rest of Golden Thread's team, Sahar, Michelle, Sheila, Linda, Sulna. Thank you to our audiences for joining us. And, thank you. Please stay in the loop. Please join the email list, join the ASHTAR email list, Friends of ASHTAR, and be part of the global community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ash.
Thank you, Around. Thank you, everybody. Really, Ashley, you are great as always. Thank you.
You are. Thank you all. Thank you so